Hello, President Choi. My name is Ashley Joseph with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. It's good to meet you. One of your bigger first challenges or tasks will be hiring the new chancellor for Mizzou in particular. Do you have a timeline already for that? Is that something you're already kind of talking with people about?
Yes, I am thinking about that. As you know, Hank Foley is an outstanding leader, someone who has done a terrific job during the past year and leading the campus during some very difficult times. I'll be meeting with senior leaders as well as the board of curators to discuss the next step. And I'll also speak with President Michael Middleton about that as well. So more examination currently and evaluating the situation and then deciding on the next steps.
How did the unrest thus fall at the Columbia campus play into your decision to apply for this position and then accept this position?
Well, I believe that the incidents that have happened are not unique to University of Missouri, and recognizing that there are so many great individuals here who care about the institution and want to move it forward, I felt it was a great opportunity for me to come and work with all of the stakeholders to effect some positive changes. And during my career, my 24-year career in academia, I've always developed new programs that have provided opportunities. Pipeline development for underrepresented minority students, bridge program for women students in engineering, and serving as the principal investigator for a number of programs that have benefited communities, like the research experiences for teachers to train teachers from inner cities in doing research and becoming more effective mentors. And those are the types of programs and the examples that I like to establish and work with the community of faculty members, students, and staff to effect those changes. So I'm very excited about the opportunities.
Travis and for the Missouri Times, you're coming in with an academia background, whereas the last few presidents for the UM system both had business backgrounds.
That's right.
What do you think that place in academia brings to the position that a businessman or a businesswoman could bring?
So speaking for my background in academia, having the background that I've had, serving as a faculty member who has been involved in funded research, teaching classes, performing outreach activities in the community, has been very supportive of my development as an administrator. So I understand the aspirations and the struggles of faculty members. I understand what it's like to provide an outstanding education to our students. So having that understanding, I think, brings new perspectives to this position of system president. And but going beyond that, we do know that the University of Missouri system is a $3.1 billion operation. And there's an outstanding team of key administrators in the system and the campuses that will be working with me to make sure that we provide an outstanding education within the budget that we have. So the business component of it is something that we have to be very mindful of, because every opportunity that we have to provide resources for faculty research and student financial aid, both merit and need-based, is going to be critical.
Ray Preston, KMOB in St. Louis. Regarding the unrest on campus, what was your reaction or your thoughts regarding the Melissa Click incident?
I believe that it was an incident that is not unique to University of Missouri system. And I think it's critical for all of us working at a university to have a balance between free speech, academic freedom, but also appropriate ways to communicate that is both inclusive, collegial, and most importantly, respectful. So those are programs that I'll work with many individuals. And I mentioned Kevin McDonald. But when it comes to creating an inclusive environment, it's not the responsibility of just one individual. It's our collective responsibility. And we do it because that is what's important at a university, to be able to provide the perspectives that come from diversity of backgrounds, social, economic, cultural backgrounds, is going to be critical. That's how we're going to be advancing the research and the teaching mission of this university system.
Dr. Choi, one
Rudy Keller with Columbia.
Of course.
Review. One of the first reactions to this announcement is coming from a group of graduate assistants on campus, who are on the MU campus, who are seeking recognition for their union. The university has refused to recognize them as employees, and now it's a case in civil court. They called on you to drop the university's resistance to their unionization and drop the legal case. What's your view on graduate assistants, whether they're actually employees, and whether or not the university should work with them for unionization?
Well, let me first say that graduate students are the lifeblood of a research university, and their contribution for pursuing research and scholarship, working with our faculty members, and having the important responsibility of serving as teaching assistant is critical for a university like the University of Missouri system. I would have to understand more about the situation here at the University of Missouri system before being able to make a definitive answer. But I will be working closely with President Middleton as well as the campus chancellors to better understand the situation, but always finding ways to better support our graduate students. Without them, our research would not be able to move forward in a manner that it should for a public research university.
What's your thoughts? Same question.
Well, the graduate student question is a legal question that needs resolution. Our opinion is one issue, but there's no legal precedent in the state of Missouri, and so that's the reason that the lawsuit is going forward.
Dr. Choi, Governor Nixon just tweeted just a few seconds ago that he is going to meet with you this morning.
Yes.
He praises you. Where is that meeting going to take place, and what I don't know if you're going to be involved, President Henderson, but what do you guys intend to talk about?
I think I'll meet the governor wherever he wants me to meet, and I'll be there. But I do believe I'm going to meet in the governor's office, and I look forward to meeting with him, sharing my vision of, well, first, before sharing my vision, understanding from him his vision for the University of Missouri system. And this is a university system that all of the citizens of this state can be very proud of. And so finding ways with Governor Nixon and also the next administration that comes in to help shape that vision together. So I look forward to the meeting and to learn more about Missouri and his vision for the public higher education system in the state. There was a question over there. She raised the question first.
I was just going to ask, UConn did unionize graduate students and enter into a contract with them in October.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about, now you've had about a year of that contract being in place, have you seen any changes in how graduate students operate on campus?
When we enacted that contract, one of the key goals was to have a seamless approach in how grad students are able to continue their research and their teaching. And the university has been very open about that. Obviously, it is a negotiation because we are dealing with a union. In that case of University of Connecticut, it's the UAW. But situations in different states are different. So I think I would have to better understand what the current situation here is in the University of Missouri system before I can provide a thoughtful response to that.
Dr. Choi, Mark Slavin, I'm at the local CBS station here in Harris.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
My question, I wanted to get specific here. When you settle in and become the new president, what is your number one goal as you enter your office?
My number one goal, my number one activity that I plan to pursue is to meet with all of the stakeholders, to understand Missouri, to understand the aspirations of our elected officials, of our chancellors, but just as importantly, the aspirations of our students and our faculty and our staff. They, as I stated, are the heart and soul of the university. So I will first begin by listening. I've had experience during my career of implementing programs, but not all programs are transferable or transportable. So I would have to understand what the aspirations are, what the shared vision is that we can develop together. And so a lot of listening, but also coming up with some creative solutions and a creative strategic vision for the University of Missouri system that will benefit all of the citizens in this state.
I have one
Tyler
question.
back here. Oh, go ahead,
Can I
Mark,
get
and then
one?
Tyler's next.
Okay, Pam, I wanted to ask you, why Dr. Choi?
Dr. Choi has, first of all, our search process produced some outstanding candidates, but Dr. Choi comes from an outstanding public land grant research university, and we want to bring that excellence to our university.
Can you do that one more time?
Did you lost focus there, did you? I said, we had some outstanding candidates in our search process, and we were all very pleased with what the search process produced. But Dr. Choi comes from an outstanding public land grant university, and we want to bring that experience to Missouri.
Hi, my name is Laura Bartowski with Calumet News. Dr. Choi, how do you plan to make a relationship with the students at all the different campuses? Because sometimes, the business side or the, higher positions can kind of get lost for students. How do you plan to make a relationship?
I think that's key. I plan to have frequent visits to the campuses, working with the chancellors to meet the students, and as I stated before, to really listen to the students about issues that are important to them. And during my career, I've enjoyed that aspect of my job greatly. And being able to find ways through important strategic programs to improve the student outcomes, to giving advice, just small advices as I run across students on campus has been very fulfilling for me. So I plan to do that with all of the students at each of the campuses.
I'm Joe McLean with the local ABC affiliate, KMIZ. I wanted to ask, the events of last year gave a lot of the alumni I spoke to some mixed feelings about the university. Do you have a plan for mending fences, building bridges back?
I also have a very clear goal of engaging all of our alums. The more than 300,000 alums that are living alums in the from University of Missouri system, they're very critical. Many of them are very proud of the institution. They've gone on to great careers based on the education here, and they have very deep commitment to the success of the institution. But once again, I want to listen from them. I want to not only hear, but also react and act upon the recommendations. So I really look forward to that.
You come from an engineering background, and the University of Missouri has schools of engineering in Rolla and Columbia. The Columbia campus is an AAU campus, but it's considered to be potentially on the bubble of whether it's going to remain. How do you build up research dollars at all the campuses? And secondly, will you be personally maintaining a portfolio of research as president?
So the first part of your question is, I will work closely with all of the chancellors to provide resources and opportunities for our faculty members to be successful. We have outstanding faculty members in each of the campuses, but we have to ask ourselves, are we providing the appropriate resources when it comes to not only financial resources, but equipment, laboratory, and opportunities for programs to succeed. From my understanding, we have one of the top printmaking programs and dramatic arts and opera programs. Do we have the production facilities to ensure that our students and faculty members can really develop the type of acclaim that they deserve? And those are questions that we're going to be asking. Obviously, we are going to be facing some challenging financial situations like many public research universities, but it's making the right decision to enable the investment for our faculty and students to succeed. That's key. And the second part of your question was?
Will you personally keep a portfolio of research going while president?
So my answer to that is no. My number one job is to promote the teaching and research and outreach programs of the faculty and students at this university. So the last project that I have with NASA, unfortunately, after after 29 years, will have to go away, but it'll be in good hands.
Ariel Rockfield, the NBC affiliate in Kansas City. You say it's critical to have an inclusive collegiate environment. Looking back at the campuses now and over the past year, describe the environment for us, and do you think it's up to your par, to your standards?
So let me emphasize again how important that inclusive and collegiate environment is at a university. And at a university, like the University of Missouri system, it's really incumbent for all of the stakeholders to ask, what am I contributing to that environment? And that conversation will be had. There are obviously areas that we can improve, but that's not unique to the University of Missouri system. But once we have all of the stakeholders understanding that it is their responsibility, because it is their university and university system, will be an important step for all of us to take. And so that's a dialogue that is to be had frequently, often. And administrators have to listen to the perspectives of those who are bringing up important issues for us to consider. So that's going to be a very important activity from my office and for all of the stakeholders at the University of Missouri system.
Claire Banderas with KBIA in Columbia. So last October, when demands and student protests were happening at the University of Missouri campus, students and faculty at UConn also kind of came forward and expressed similar frustrations with lack of action and response from administration at your university.
Mm-hmm.
How did you and your administration respond then, and was it different, or do you think it's ways that can be applied now that you're working here?
I think, as I stated before, the incidents that have occurred at the University of Missouri system and MU are not unique to the Columbia campus or Missouri. And I do believe that these types of incidences can be avoided, for the most part, by having early dialogue when students or faculty members share their concern, to meet with them, for the most senior leaders to meet with them, so that they not only give the impression, they give a strong commitment that they want to help solve the problems that they face. So that's going to be key. And there are lessons learned from every university. And for us, we have to take those best practices, whether it's at University of Missouri or University of Connecticut, and learn from that. I think that's key.
Chair Hendricks, what is the salary that will be paid to Dr. Choi? And is there any large payment if the curators or he decides quickly that this is not his for him?
Well, I don't have that number in my head, so I don't want to guess. So.
Do you have a start date? John, do you have that number?
Yes. March 1st.
Yeah, that's the start date. The contract will be available tomorrow. Go here.
For a lot of folks, athletics is a very important part of the collegiate life and the branding of the university itself. So what are your thoughts on practice facilities, Missouri joining the SEC, et cetera?
That's something that I would have to learn more about before making a comment. But, you know, the student athletes at this university represent a very strong tradition, and I'm very happy that we have MU competing in the SEC, one of the most important Power 5 conferences, and it's important that we support their activities because they do serve as a front porch for the University of Missouri system. And their success both in the classroom and off the field are going to be key. So it's not just a practice facility, but also the advising, the tutoring, the instructors that may travel with the teams to ensure that our student athletes and all of us never forget they are students first. And that's going to be a key emphasis for me going forward.
Dr. Choi, have you been to all 4 campuses yet?
Not yet. I do plan to visit at the end of this month. I look forward to it. I've done a lot of flybys through Missouri, but I'm very happy to be visiting the campuses and learning from all of the students and faculty and staff.
Can you tell us what your selling point was on the University of Missouri for you and your family?
One of the top public research university systems in the country. with an institution that's part of the AAU, one of the top 62 universities in the country by important measures that are evaluated by AAU. A very strong science and technology university in Rolla, as well as two great urban institutions that serve the needs of two terrific and vibrant cities in Missouri. So all of these things combined have been very important selling points. But I guess more importantly, I've been, during the process, discussing with the Board of Curators and the search committee and the senior leadership. I just felt that there was such a strong commitment for the University of Missouri system to continue its rise as a top flagship research system. So I'm very excited.
Last year, some of the students on the MU football team had threatened to strike. Do you think there should be consequences if student athletes refuse to participate in games? Student athletes have every right, as any other member of the university community, to voice their concerns. I think it's important also that the senior administrators continue under the able leadership of Mike Middleton as president, as well as the senior leadership, that dialogue, that open door to have the dialogue and listening to the concerns and sharing options for solutions has been critical, and that will continue so that we can avoid some of the dramatic actions. But if those instances arise because individuals and groups feel that their voices are not heard, then that's something that we have to address. And it starts by listening and also providing solutions.
I'll go back to the first question that you were asked in this room, and that had to do with choosing a chancellor for the University of Missouri campus at Columbia.
Yes.
Even though you don't start till the 1st of March next year, how much progress would you anticipate making, working with those who you mentioned a while ago, towards making that decision, so that it's not a hold it up?
Of course. And the Columbia campus is a very critical campus to the system. It is the oldest institution, and it represents an opportunity to hire an outstanding individual to lead its further growth in terms of research and student outcomes. So that's a conversation that I'm going to have very carefully and in a detailed manner with the Board of Curators, as well as the senior leadership team, Mike Middleton and others, and also meeting with Hank and other senior leaders before moving forward. So that's going to be a decision that's going to be taking a lot of my time and effort to accomplish.
Time for one more. Got it. Over here. When we don't find you around the office, where will we find you? What will you be doing? What are your likes? What are your hobbies? What are your interests, etc.?
You'll always find me there. I mean, I'll be working hard, and I have a board that's going to ensure that I work hard each and every day. But I want to get out into the community, to the 114 counties, because this is a university system that serves the entire state of Missouri. And I'm going to enjoy meeting with people, alums, through individuals through the extension offices. And so that's going to take a lot of my time. My hobbies, I enjoy Broadway shows. I enjoy the opera. I enjoy reading history and learning from history. That's critical. But I think if you were to ask my wife, I really enjoy meeting people and just sharing insights that I can make connections with that'll help me remember them the next time. And I really do enjoy that. And if I can add just one more thing, if it's possible. I know that today's all about University of Missouri system, and I'm so excited to be here. But if any of my colleagues are watching this from the University of Connecticut, it's been a terrific opportunity for me to serve that institution. I'll be leaving behind many friends, colleagues, alums, state leaders, industry partners that have made a tremendous difference to the institution. And my middle son, Christopher, is studying engineering and history. He's a freshman at UConn, and he wants to continue his career there. And so I'm happy about that, but I just want to end with that and also to thank Board Chair Henriksen, members of the Board of Curators, and the search committee, and to all of you. I look forward to working with you. I look forward to being transparent, open, and also learning about Missouri by meeting with you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Anybody on the phone line, any questions from there? Anybody on the phone line, reporters joining us?
Yeah, this is Eric Kelderman from the
Go ahead.
Chronicle of Higher Ed,
Yep.
if I could ask.
Yep,
Hi, Eric.
go ahead.
Hey, Dr. Choi, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Hey, I want to clarify, you seem to describe a university system that seems, in a sense, separated from the state that it serves, or maybe a populace that doesn't feel connected to the system. Is that the sense that you get in having met the search committee and thought about this job? And is that what you're talking about when you talk about meeting with stakeholders across the state about unifying the citizens with the system?
No, not at all. I believe that in my interaction with the search committee, obviously we had faculty members, students, and alums, and board of curators that represented different parts of the state. There was a singular commitment that this system is an important system that serves all 4 campuses and the health network for the state. And they are so ready for the collaboration opportunities that are available, that are already beginning, that have begun already. And I think they're very excited about what is possible. And they also recognize that each campus and the health network has received strong support from various regions of the state. So I think it's a very cohesive group, and I look forward to making it even a greater collection of campuses that will enable us to have collaborative research and more collaborative opportunities for teaching. So there are tremendous...
I meant what...
Pardon me?
I meant, when we think about lawmakers and the pushback against the system from lawmakers and the administration, I wonder is there a divide there between sort of the average citizen? And we see this in a lot of other states where, average folks feel like, well, my kids can't get into the university system. And
right. And, based on my interactions with the elected officials in Connecticut, while I've dealt with individuals who at times were critical of the institution. But when I viewed their criticism, it wasn't a criticism against us because they felt that we were not doing the right things, but there was a criticism that said that we could do more. There are hardworking citizens of the state that are supporting the university system, and they want to ensure that we provide the most outstanding education and create the research by our faculty members. So I take that as coming from individuals that are deeply committed for the success of the institutions that we serve. And so I will get to meet with all of the elected officials in this state and to learn from them how we can best serve the needs of the citizens of Missouri.
All right, thank you, everybody.